Hello, beautiful people. How are you all doing this afternoon? Yes, you can hear me. I can see the thingy moving, and I think you can all see me. So it's Friday. It's chocolate chip cookie day. It's work from home day, and I'm putting in your pajamas. And it's pizza party day. If you didn't watch the morning messages, that was the main sort of takeaway from the morning messages this morning. So you are welcome to have chocolate chip cookies, you are welcome to have pizza, and you can sit in your pajamas all day. Now, I decided to change from my pajamas, but I like this outfit. So, you wear what you want to wear. So if you want to sit in your pajamas, sit in your pajamas, but you definitely have to eat chocolate chip cookies or alternative, and you definitely have to have pizza or alternative. Let's see who is in the chat today. How are you all doing? We have got Billy Kershaw came in very early today. A Jammy Civil impersonation. I will have to have a look at that later. Hi, Chrissy. Lovely to see you. Thank you for being here. Hi, Diz. Lovely to see you. I know a lot of you I did see this morning over on Graham's channel and on Reagan Elite's channel. I wasn't in there for long. I was listening, but I wasn't in there, chatting all the time. I've been busy. I don't know what I've been busy doing, but I have been busy. Let's see who. Hi, Mel. Hope all is good for you. I saw something about you getting on a bus just now. I hope everything's okay. What's about this heads up thingy? What's this heads up? Hi, Viper Scott. Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. Who else do we have? Yes, Mel's getting on a bus. This bus driver either needs a pee or is drunk. Let's hope that it's the pee and not that he's drunk, because if he's drunk, yeah, he's going to lose his job, isn't he? Hi, David McGuinness. Hope all is good with you. What's the weather like up there in Scotland? It was sunny this morning. It's now gone overcast. It's not cold, though, for a change, so that's a good thing. Hello, Daniela Coward. Lovely to see you. Hello, Wake Up and Smell the Rosemaries. Lovely to see you here. Who else do we have? Let's have a look. I will be listening. Thank you, my darling. That's perfectly fine. Hi, Draka. Lovely to see you. I am guessing that Alexis is with you as well. Wonderful to see you both. Yes, please check out the Two Davies channel, Politics with a Scottish slant. Well, they are looking for independence, which I don't blame them, because England's fucking stupid. But fantastic channel. So go watch. I hope your car's sorted out now, David. I hope that that's all sorted, because you broke down, didn't you, on the way to meet Darren? Is Daily Blase on this afternoon? Because I've added it onto the description, but I couldn't find a link for his live stream to send you all over there. So I wasn't sure. I'm very pissed off. I ordered ice cream yesterday from Tesco on a whoosh delivery, because I don't do going to the shops. It's very, very rarely I do going to the shops. And so I ordered a few other bits as well. But the main thing on there that I wanted was the ice cream. It said it was out of stock, but they didn't substitute it for me. They're supposed to sub everything. I tick in the boxes, substitute. So I didn't get my ice cream. So I might have to do another whoosh order today, a little bit later on. Oh, good, David, your car's fixed. That's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. Indie. Oh God, you know, I've bloody done it again, haven't I? I do it all the bloody time. Live chat, witchy, not. Yeah, I couldn't see a link to 5 p.m, so he's probably not there. That's a bit crap, isn't it? Bloody sensors, bane of my life. Yeah, my old car had a problem with the sensors. This one I've got a problem with. Well, it needs new brake discs. It's not a new car by no means. It's an oldish car. It was my dad's. Has very low mileage though. My dad didn't drive it often, and I don't drive it often because I can't afford to. And so mostly it's in the garage. And yeah, when I took it for its MOT last year, they said that, you know, advisory that the brake discs will need replacing before my next MOT. So I have to do that. So if you would like to support the channel and help me get my new brake discs, the link to the Buy Me a Coffee page is in the description box below. Also, half of what you donate to me on Buy Me a Coffee will be donated by me to cat protection, because this month I am running 50k for the month for cat protection. I've done 25k so far. I couldn't run today. I'm pissed off. It was going to be my last run before my race on Sunday. But I woke up with a stiff back. It's my herniated disc on my lower back, and I can't bend backwards from that area. So I've been doing a bit of, yeah, mine's about 20 years old, Diz. Mine's about 20. In fact, Chris C, when is W Reg? How old is W Reg? So that's a bit crap about Daily Blase not going live. So hello, Elle. Lovely to see you, my darling. Thank you for being here. And I like the Elle McPherson. I like that. So we can all be afeared of Elle. So you'll see that I have put up a poll. I know that Graham from Power to the People. Power to the People. I think it's Graham Power to the People, isn't it? Put up a poll. I think he had exactly the same people that I listed here. But I thought I'd do it live stream and see where we go, because I think when I saw his post, he's going to talk about all the Labour shit on Sunday, which I'm sure there'll be more shit that'll have happened by then. I'm going to talk about some of the Labour shit, but I've got other shit to cover as well, because it is Wtf Friday. So 2000. Right. So my car is 26 years old. Doesn't that mean that it's now, I don't have to pay road tax anymore? I'm sure that's what it means. I'm sure if it's 25 years old, you don't pay road tax. Yes, please also go and have a look at Danielle Coward's YouTube channel, because she is brilliant. Some excellent videos on there. So far on, hi person impersonator, lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. Guys, if you haven't already, please click the like button. Please share on your socials. Get your mates to come and have a watch, and just to come and join in the chat and talk shit, because it is Wtf Friday. I wish that you could swear in the chat, because I don't mind it, but the chat probably won't let you. It's YouTube. It's not me. It's YouTube. So who would you choose for the next leader of Labour and PM? 36% say Angela Rayner, 9% Ed Miliband, 9% Wes Streeting, and 45% Andy Burnham. So obviously with Andy Burnham, there's a lot of shit that's going on, because you know, he's not an MP. So he has to stand for an area to become MP first before he can, become leader of the party. I believe that is Labour's policy. I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure somebody will correct me. Now, I know with the Green Party, for example, they can have a leader that's not an MP, but he is in the London something or other. I can't remember what Zach Polite, London. Oh, I can't remember what it is that he's in, but it is in London something. What the fuck? Why the fuck? Yeah, what the fuck? Why the fuck? Whatever the fuck. Yeah. Bloody autocorrect. London Assembly, thank you, Diz. I knew it was London something, I couldn't remember. But I think that they are one of the only parties that do that. It's in their rules. I'm not 100% sure. As I say, it is oh, you can say fuck. Brilliant. Brilliant. I didn't think I'd blocked. There's only certain words that I've blocked. So, yeah. I voted Streeting to help Scottish independence. Oh, Rosemary's, I don't blame you, but please, we don't want Streeting. He's got Lego hair. I don't like him. I really don't like him. He's shit. Anyway, he stepped down from his position, hasn't he? So we've got somebody new as the health secretary. I don't know who. I've not actually kept on top of all the shit in Labour. I just know that there will be a off hell the fog. Yeah, streeting is as popular as syphilis. Absolutely. I think it used to be 25 years, but they realised they would be screwing themselves out of a lot of tax. Okay, Chris C, thank you. Drat. Because a mate of mine was selling a car. It was an Audi. It looked really nice, but it had a lot of mileage on it. I'm like, no, I can't. I'm not buying that. And I couldn't afford it anyway. But, it was just something to, dream about. But the thing is, if I'm going to buy another vehicle, it is going to be a van. It is hopefully going to be a camper van or a small van that at least I can put a tent on the back of, and I can, sleep in the van when I'm going on my trips and journeys and things. That's a bike. That's a motorbike. I don't know if you can hear it. It used to be 25 years, however, the Tories changed the law and it's no longer classed as a historic vehicle if it is under 40 years old. Fucking wankers. Fucking wankers, the bastards. Anything for money. Anything for money. Kalama, I did see your question. I will get there in a little while, so don't worry. If you can ask your question again and just at me. So at the witchy goth, and then it comes up highlighted on my feed, and then I can refer back to it without trying to find it, because the chat is stupid. It's stupid. Any other content creator will tell you the same. When they scroll through, it does this jump. So it goes down to the newest comments, and to try and find the last comment that you read, it is a pile of shit. Hi, Tommy Lee. Lovely to see you. Only car I've got is a fake taxi. Bless you. To be honest, the devil, that's health minister, or are they also cozying up to private healthcare companies? You know what? It wouldn't surprise me, Viper. It would not surprise me. Populist oligarchy, absolutely. Private dancers for money. Look, like I said yesterday, the only reason why Streeting didn't launch a leadership challenge is because he realised he doesn't have the support of 80 people in the country, let alone in Labour. Yeah, absolutely. I like that. Must remember that. He doesn't. He's a twat. Let's just say it. He's a twat. He's been wanting to... I mean, the thing is, we know that the NHS has improved since Labour have been in power. They have, waiting times are down, etc., etc., etc. But there's still that, from Streeting's perspective, of wanting to privatise it, and I don't want that. I don't want that because I can't afford it. And I know, having lived in South Africa, they have the private medical aids, which is your insurance-based one, and then they have the one for the people who don't have money to pay for private medical aid. And so if you are on medical aid, you get seen very quickly. If you have to go to the government-run one, you're pretty much seen as last in the queue for whatever. So yeah, I don't want to experience that again. I've already been there, I've already done that, and I don't want to experience that again. I thought twats were useful. Streeting is not useful. That's true. What is on my head? You want one? I think I got this from Amazon. It's a headband with black roses. So it's like just an elastic headband. This is my second one because my first one, the elastic stretched. I'm going to have to get another one because there's a gap. There's a gap here and it's pissing me off. I need to zhuzh it. That's annoying me. It's annoying me that there's that gap there. I'm gonna have to glue it or something. So yeah, I think I got it from Amazon. It was a few years ago though. It was a few years ago. Can I say bom bom willy willy bom 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 willy willy bom bom? You can. Oh, I've got a mirth. There's a mirth. Sorry. Oh, okay. So childlike cussing is all good. Absolutely. You can swear as much as you like. This channel is not yet monetized. I need 350 hours viewing to get to the monetization. So if I could ask you to do me a favor, there is a watch list, or a playlist on my library that is the most viewed videos that I've done. If you could put that on at night before you go to sleep and just let it run through, we should hopefully be able to get up to that by the end of the month, and then I can monetize, which will mean no more swearing. I know it's shit. So let's get all the swearing out now. Which is the reason why waiting lists numbers have come down is Streeting ordered NHS Trust to remove patients off them and only add them back if requested by a consultant. Okay, thank you for letting me know. That makes perfect sense because I was kicked off the list and now I've been re-added and I have to cancel an appointment that I was supposed to have on Monday because I can't afford to get there. It's in Sheffield and I am not doing public transport. I am definitely not driving. Can't afford parking. So yeah, that can just fuck right off. That can wait. Besides, I know what they're going to say to me because I've gained weight. So I need to lose that weight that I've gained. And that is probably why my back is sore. Extra weight on the joints and on the body causes pain on the joints. So my herniated disc in my lower spine, it's on the left side, but at the moment I can't, it's my whole back. So I've been doing a bit of yoga today, a bit of stretching. I did some dancing earlier on when I was doing the pots. I've been doing housework. That's the first. Hung some washing. I've done the litter trays already. So after this, I'll be cooking my dinner. Well, I'm not cooking tonight. I'm having salad. I'm having a tuna salad. So that'll please Fawn because he loves his fresh tuna. Well, it's not fresh. It's out of a tin, but he loves it. He was at the vet yesterday for his jabs. All went well. He was actually very, very good. He has gained weight. Thank the goddess. He's a big cat. He's not a small cat. He was a stray. So stray cats, if they got cat class and I got cat style. Doom, 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 doom. Anybody remember that band? I used to love them. I think they still play, don't they? Yeah, so he has gained weight because when he was first diabetic, he had lost a lot of weight, and that's why I took him to the vet because I was like, this is not on because he's eating, he eats well. He does eat very, very well. He has a full pouch of meat in the morning, a full pouch of meat at night. He has 2 bowls of biscuits. In the morning, he gets a bowl of milk as well. I know you're not supposed to give cats milk, but it doesn't affect him. And he sits and looks at me with these eyes and waits for me to get my cup of tea. And then, because I have to feed him first. I have to feed him first because he gets his jab. And then the others, if they want meat, but the girls are fine. They'll just have crunchy biscuits for breakfast, and they don't all eat their meat at tea time. They're a bit, funny, some of them. But Florence has been eating meat morning and evening, but she's going to the vet on Monday because her skin is getting worse, and I'm very worried because she has lost a lot of weight. And today I was fussing her and she ran off. She wasn't happy. So that's a big worry for me. So I think there's something more wrong with her, but I don't want to, wish. Anyway, thank you, Viper Scott, for watching the playlist. I really appreciate it. Anyway, as I was saying, if you get a stray cat and it's not neutered, it's big. It grows big. It's much bigger than a cat that's been neutered as a kitten, a boy cat. So you can normally tell a stray cat that's not been neutered because their face is bigger. They have much bigger jowls, bigger bodies, bigger chests, bigger paws. So that's how you would know it's a stray, besides the fact that they spray everywhere and it stinks. Let's have a look. Yeah, I forget where I got stuff. Right. Kalama, let's have a look here. What matters more to your economic growth, equality or national identity, and which should Labour sacrifice first? Oh, that is a really good question. That is a really, really good question. Okay. I'm trying to get my answer right in my head of what I want to say here. Economic is more important. We have too many people that are living on the breadline, like myself. If anything goes wrong with any of my major appliances, I'm fucked. My TV has started to do this stupid thing now where, it's got a red button, a red light at the bottom, and press the remote and it comes on. And that's been switching itself off by itself. So I've been having to go to the wall and flick the switch and then light to reboot it. And then it works. The red light comes back on. But the last 2 days, I've been watching Silent Witness because I've missed quite a few seasons of it, and it is a program that I absolutely love, and it's something that I can put on in the background while I'm editing videos on my phone and stuff like that. It started switching off halfway through something, so I'm just trying to make it last as long as possible because I've got an old cathode ray tube one in the downstairs cupboard, but I think I can't lift it up. It's too bloody heavy. No ways would I be able to lift it up. I'd have to get a mate to come round and help me. But I think that's had a lot of damp damage to it. I didn't put it in there. The ex-idiot dickhead did. And like I say, I can't lift it up. There is another old TV in the garage, but I think that conked out. So I don't know. What I'll do. It is what it is. But like if my washing machine breaks, that needs replacing. If my, obviously I can do without a dishwasher. I don't use my tumble dryer very often at all because it's too expensive and it's in the garage. There's no space for it in the house. And I have a spare room and the sun comes in that window and I've got like 2 big clothes racks and clothes go on there because I wear a lot of running gear. The running gear is what's what. Running gear and pajamas. Fresh pajamas every day, fresh running gear every day, fresh socks, for running in. And then I've got different socks. I can't wear my running socks for during the day. Running socks are expensive. They're not cheap. And with the socks that I have, I don't get blisters. So I think the economy is more important than, I think equality is, definitely. National identity. We already have a national identity. It's people like Froggage and dickhead Yaxi Lennon who are, I think, this is my opinion, are conning people into believing that we don't have a national identity when we do. It's actually something that I'm going to play for you. Some of you may have seen it. Some of you may not have seen it. It was an interview that Piers Morgan did. You know, he has the panel on. And some MAGA idiot was going on about stuff, but Ava Santini was on. And he was incredibly rude to her and misogynistic. And I was just like, so I didn't watch the whole thing. I didn't watch the whole Piers Morgan thing because I don't like him. But, you know, you have to, it just came up on my feed. I'm like, okay, so I've pulled that up. And there's another video that I want to play for you as well. Obviously, I know you can't see it. It's just the yakking that you're going to hear, I'm afraid. You know, I'm living by the skin of my teeth, sliding on the bones of my arse, doing what I can to, you know, stay alive and not starve. So thank you, Viper Scott, for watching the playlist. I do appreciate it. So I think that economic growth is more important. I think that they need to put in a universal basic income. And I know it will piss off a lot of the right wingers because they believe that people who are on benefits don't work, don't do anything, don't contribute anything to society. They believe that people who are on disability don't deserve to have disability pay. They believe that there are jobs for every single person that can do work, and everybody can do work regardless of, this is them, not me. This is not me, regardless of what sort of disability they have. But we've got to remember that, you know, mental health is a huge problem, and it is caused by the economic environment at the moment, a lot of it. You know, there's a lot of different causes for mental health issues, but a major cause of it is not having money. Not having money to buy a chocolate from the shop, because, you know, if you spend, like, I don't know, what is it? Chocolate's gone up, hasn't it? It's really expensive now. It's ridiculous. But if you buy a slab of chocolate, it's like double the price that it was a year ago. And you might not be able to buy, you could buy 4 or 5 cans of beans for that, which gives you, like, you know, I mean, I can only eat small amount of beans at once. So that's like, let's say if I have half a can of beans, so that's 2 meals. So if I've got 5 cans of beans, that's 10 meals. So, you know, you have to weigh up, right, what is the best way to go? And then, of course, there's why, you know, I read a post yesterday on FaceCrack. Some person thinks that those on benefits should be forced to wear a uniform, and perhaps a different colour uniform for how long they have been on benefits. And that they should be forced to do jobs, regardless of what their health is or why they're unemployed or whatever's going on. The main thing is there aren't any jobs. You know, it depends where you live as well. It depends where you live, and it depends what kind of work you are qualified to do. And I think that, yeah, the economy needs to come first. Prices need to come down. They have to. Prices have been shooting up since Brexit, absolutely shooting up since Brexit. A block of butter, I can't have margarine. I just can't. I can't stand the taste. So I have a smear of butter on my toast, and as a treat, the crust of the toast, I toast it, and then I put, like, quite a bit more butter on, because it's like, I just love just butter. No jam, just butter. And I mean, the jam I buy is the cheap stuff. I don't buy the expensive stuff. So yeah, the prices of food need to come down. Brexit fucked us all over. We knew it would. Unfortunately, some people believe that it would, you know, sorry, my hair's annoying me. I did try and straighten it out earlier. That's a bit better. I think food prices need to come down. Rent prices need to come down. There was an interview that I was watching with, youngsters, I say youngsters, probably millennials, late millennials, Gen Z, I'm not sure. And they were saying about the rent prices that they pay for just a room. And I know, because I rent, I don't own my own house. And that these prices should be capped. And, you know, you can't afford to move. You can't afford to move. That's the thing. You want to move into a cheaper place, but there aren't any cheaper places, and you can't afford the actual moving fees, because when you move into a new rental property, you have to pay the deposit and the first month's rent up front. So that's basically 2 months' rent that you have to pay. And of course, then there is your moving fees. You know, you can get friends to help you, but I've had to hire my own vans in the past, and that's like a 2-day job of, you know, moving everything and everything. And that's like with friends that have helped me. And yeah, it's not easy to move yourself. So I think that economic growth is more important. And then I would say equality. And that is equality amongst everybody, men and women of all faiths and all skin colours. National identity is already there. It already exists. But we've got people like Teachy Tommy who want to make us believe that it doesn't exist, that you know, the Muslims are taking over, and which we know is a load of shit. Where I live, for example, I'm pretty sure that there are some Muslims that live here, but I've not really noticed. And even if I did notice, would it make any difference to me? Not at all. Not at all. So I do think that economic growth is the most important, but I think that we have to tax the rich. It's the only way to do it. And I don't care that the wealthy go, oh, but, you know, we'll leave the country. Well, fuck off then, because you're not contributing to the country. You are stealing from the poor. And the poor are what keep the country going, because the poor will buy. The poor have to buy. The poor have to spend their money. Whereas the rich keep the money in offshore accounts, whatever, they buy a yacht or they buy a big house, but they're not, you know, that money's not constantly going back into the pot. People say that people on benefits don't pay tax. We do. We pay tax on petrol. We pay tax on food. I worked before I had to go on benefits, and that was the doctors and the previous company that I worked for, and they basically kicked me out because of my illnesses. And the doctors have said, no, you can't work. And this is why I'm doing this from home, is to try to earn a living so that I can, you know, maybe go on a holiday. You know, a mate of mine's on holiday at the moment and looks really lovely. They're up in Scotland. And I'm like, oh God, I wish I could afford a holiday. And he's like, you will one day. I'm like, yeah, probably when I'm like in a wheelchair, you know. I mean, like my holidays are going camping for a few days, and that is literally it. That is, or going to a music festival. That's all I can afford. And because, you know, that's why I would like a van, so that I can take the cats with me and I don't have to pay for a cat sitter. Don't have to worry about the cats except when they run away and escape their harnesses, which Thorn does. He's like Houdini. So I do think that the economy needs fixing first, and then equality. And I think equality can be fixed immediately. Equality can be fixed immediately. That I think is something that can be taught immediately. It can be, you know, fed into daily life. It can be addressed on a level within all businesses, from the television and within schools. So that can be addressed immediately. That's my opinion. Some of you may have different opinions. I've not checked the comments because I've been waffling. Person impersonator, I suspect the first sacrifice will be equality. I don't think it's necessary to sacrifice equality. I really don't. I think that, you know, if a business cannot afford to pay the staff members the right wage, then they shouldn't exist as a business. So perhaps, the government needs to give them some funding. And that's the other thing that we must remember. We're always told that there's no money tree. There fucking is. It's called the Bank of England. It is called the Bank of England. But the people that run the Bank of England, they don't care about us. They don't care. It's funny because my mum said, I think it was yesterday or the day before, she said to me, "Oh, you leave your money in your bank account so you gain some interest." I'm like, "Mum, you don't get interest here." Did in South Africa. I said, "You don't get interest here." She's, "Why?" I said, "Because the bankers are wankers." She laughed. She knows I swear. But yeah, you put your money into an account and they're earning the interest off of your money. You aren't. They are. That's wrong. That is very, very wrong. You can earn interest on a cash ISA, but it's such a low amount. I don't have enough money to put in a cash ISA anyway. So if, my bank account goes into the red. So there is a magic money tree. It is called the Bank of England. It is called stopping these rich fuckers from stealing from us, because that's what they're doing. They're stealing from each and every single one of us, and they don't care. And they think that us on benefits live the life of Riley. I'm pretty sure that quite a few of you have been or are on benefits. And do we live the life of Riley? No. No, we don't. We have to be so bloody careful about what we do with our money. I hope the bus driver helped you there, Indy. Forgot to take your meds. Yes, Elle, take your meds. Must remember. I got told I'd walk better if I took up running again. I'm just shaking my head, Mel, because I just have no words. The fabulous stray cats, absolutely. You see, it's done it. It's done it again. It's done it again. Hang on a second. I've got to scroll back up now. I haven't hoovered it or dusted it, no. So perhaps that's what I must do. I don't dust. I have cobwebs everywhere and spiders. I'm a goth. Can't kill them. I will try that though. I will try that this evening. Thank you, Chrissy, Viper Scott, for telling me that. Chrissy, I found out an interesting fact. For the first 290,000 years, we didn't have patriarchy. For 95% of human history, men and women, boys and girls were equal. They were. And women were revered because back then, excuse me, women, obviously we didn't have science like we do now and biology like we do now. Women were seen to bleed for 7 days and still survive and give birth to a child sort of seemingly from nothing, because obviously, there was no concept of this, the intimacy and the fluids and stuff. But yeah, when did patriarchy happen? Abrahamic religions. CRTVs are good for retro gaming. Playing an old console on an HD TV does not look good. I don't have any consoles or games. I don't. Mel, I'm not surprised that you can open doors and they can't. Bloody, yeah. Huge Cure fan, Witchy reminder, 14, the glove double C. Yes, I still, again, it's one of those things that is on my list. It'll just have to wait. You can do nothing without growth. Sadly, it has to be a priority. Absolutely, person impersonator. Sorry, I'm going back up the chat because I see I've missed some people. For fuck's sake, Lord Bamford, owner of JCB, has retained his position as the richest person in the West Midlands. He is now worth 10 billion. Who needs that sort of wealth? Yeah. There's a song by Aurora called The Seed. It's really good. Have a listen to the lyrics. The lyrics are really, I was listening to it earlier actually because I was listening to something else which I'm going to talk about in a minute, but yeah, you cannot eat money or love, which I thought was quite poignant. The Cure did. The Stray Cats annoy me. Years ago, people thought of them when mentioning The Cure. Not The Cure did the Love Cat. No, Love Cats was by The Cure. Yeah. Stray Cat Struck was the Stray Cats. Yeah. Okay, I seem to have gotten back to something there. I was never a massive Cure fan. I don't have any of their albums, but I do like Robert Smith. You know, he played with Susie. I don't know why I never got into The Cure. I know all their songs. I know all their albums. But, you know, buy secondhand, my washing machine and dishwasher are and were like new. I will have a look at that. No, it's not Friday Frolics. I think he's doing a Saturday Sniggers. I don't know what he calls it. Hello, Cat Things. Lovely to see you. Thank you for the compliment. It's afternoon here, so but that's good. I can pretend it's morning. They're heavy because they need the thick glass to shield users from the electron beams. That should work. That's coming up, guys. That is coming up. It'll be soon. It'll be soon. No, don't fall like that. Put you there. It's a balancing act. True British identity can be found in the people's choice for boat naming. My Polish friend did not think McBoatface was genius. Everything should be called McWhatever Face. It should be. I thought it was brilliant. I voted for that. And there was something else recently as well, wasn't there? And everybody said something face. British sense of humour. You can't beat it. Please don't get me started on the right-wing views on the welfare state. No, let's not, because I had cheesy beans on toast for lunch. Nothing wrong with that. I like cheesy beans on toast. But you know what I do add to my beans, which I really like, are those hot dogs that come in the jar. So I add one of them. So I boil that in water and heat up the beans in the microwave and then chop it up, mix it in, and then grated cheese on top. And brown sauce. I don't know. To me, brown sauce on beans, I can't afford the Branston beans. I get the Tesco own brand or whatever own brand. Saturday Frolics. Yeah, he's not posted. I know he was. He's on holiday, isn't he? So why should I pay for other people's lunch? The cat thinks. Why shouldn't you pay for another person's lunch? Got to turn that around, because you can have tent city. And if things keep going the way they do, we will have tent city. I already have a plan in my head. I lay there at night and think, right, because I've got 2 tents. Well, I've got 3. I've got a pop-up one, which is just I think it's a 4-man tent, but it's for if I'm camping somewhere one night. And I've got my big tent. When I used to trade at, you know, the big festivals, I used to do a lot of trading because I had my own business then. You see, this is the thing. I had my own business. I paid my tax into the HMRC. I did my own accounts. And yet now I'm looked at as, well, you're, you know, taking the piss. Even my mum today said to me, well, why don't you start teaching yoga again? Insurance. You have to have insurance. So that would be going through Balance. I would need to rejoin Yoga Alliance. I would also have to update my yoga diploma. So I would have to go and do a sort of catch-up course. And then you need to do a certain amount of extra hours a year in order to keep that Yoga Alliance certification, advertisement, marketing. And then there is hiring a room to teach and then getting the students. I live in a different area now to where I lived before. So my students wouldn't be able to get here. A lot of them walked to my classes. And when you are renting a place, you have to have your insurance for that, for a start. You know, they won't let you hire a room unless you have insurance. So there's no getting away with it. And the cost of the room hire per hour is probably more than what you would earn per student. So I used to do a 6-week, they'd pay 6 weeks up front, and that 6-week block. So people started at different times, and I'd keep a record of who paid when. So they'd pay for a 6-week block. If I missed teaching due to whatever problem, let's say I was poorly and couldn't teach, they would get, that class would be carried over. So they wouldn't lose money. I'd lose money. If they were poorly, they'd lose that class. So it's, you try and keep your prices low because not everybody can afford. Like in London, the prices of going to a yoga class are absolutely over the top. I mean, when I was in London last, I went to the studio in Soho. I can't remember the name of it now. Lovely studio, really, really nice, but very expensive. And, so what do? I don't have the money to start teaching because paying all of these fees up front. And then I actually sold all of my old yoga mats. I've kept my own personal ones. I've got about 4 or 5 that were special to me because they were gifts, or, when I had my yoga studio, I sold yoga mats and bits and bobs as well. So there's one that it's taller than me. So, because I'm 6 foot. So it's nice to find a mat that's actually longer than me, because when you're lying down on a standard size mat, your head or your feet are off the mat. So yeah, so doing that, even if I wanted to do tarot readings professionally, working at Body, Mind and Spirit fairs, I need insurance. They won't let you hire a table unless you have insurance. You have to have personal indemnity. So why should you pay for other people's lunch? Because they can't afford it. They're going to starve. They're going to beg on the street. And what turns people to, so I have this plan with my tents. I've got like this big tent that I used to trade with. And then I've got my old tent, which the inside bit's gone now. So I would have the old tent as the kitchen, and I'd have them sort of at an angle with the entrances. And so they've both got those pop-up things, and I put tarpaulin over both sides and tarpaulin over the top. You see, it's already in my head how I would do it. It's already in my head. This is what I would do. The plan is there. The plan is there. And a lot of people who are in my situation have the same thoughts. If when I was in the situation where I was earning money and there were people on benefits, I was happy to help them. I remember one Christmas I was walking through town and there was a lady playing the harp, and she was obviously, it was freezing. And, you know, she had fingerless gloves on. And I had put 20 quid into her hat because, like, I could afford it. And it didn't bother me. And my ex said to me, why the hell did you do that? I said, because it's my bloody money and I can do what I want. I said, that lady is sat there on Christmas Eve. She's probably got kids. And hopefully she can now feed them. Feel grateful for my job can be a bit of a pain sometimes, but it pays the bills and puts beer in my belly. That's great, Tommy Lee. You know, that's great. See, I'd spend my money on chocolate rather than beer. We all pay for MPs' lunches. We absolutely do. We pay for their drinks as well. We all pay for soldiers' lunches too. We do. And police. Do they get free lunches? School kids pay for their lunches, don't they? But the breakfast clubs are free, which I think is a good thing because a lot of people who have kids can't afford to feed the kids. And it's not because they're buying cigarettes or because they're buying alcohol or whatever. It's because the fucking cost of living is so high. I know it is. And I'm a single person. I get the same amount of money that they do. And I can barely afford to live. You know, there are times when I think I'd be better off not here. Not going to talk about that today, though. No, Darren's on holiday. Mel, I think he's on holiday. As of May 2026, there are around 711,000 job vacancies, but the majority of those are based in the South East and London. Yeah, and people can't afford to live there because it's too expensive. The vast majority of poor people on the other side, Chrissy, I would be interested if you can pull up the figures. The vast majority of poor people live in the north because it's cheaper. Property's cheaper. Rent is cheaper. I've waitressed. I've done shit jobs. I worked in a pub. I fucking hated it. I hated both jobs. Absolutely loathed them because people are horrible. When you work in those kind of jobs, no matter how intelligent you are treated like absolute shit. People automatically think you're stupid. People automatically think you don't know what you're doing. I did get good tips, though. Government can intervene into the markets to regulate food prices. Exactly, David McGuinness, they certainly can. As it distorts the market. It does, but there has to be a balance somewhere, doesn't there? There has to be some sort of balance, like, you know, making certain food, like, I think it's like Tesco, and I think probably a couple of other, I use Tesco because Tesco's around the corner from me and that's where I shop. I used to shop from Asda, and I know there are cheaper stores to shop from, but they don't deliver. And I have issues with people and going out into the big bad world. So they do fruit and that, don't they, for kiddies, I think, you know, free fruit and that kids can pick up free bits of fruit. And then there's the throwaway of food at the end of the day that they do. Okay, you know, the fruit and that at the moment, when it's chucked because it is going off. But like sandwiches and stuff, you know, it's just binned, whereas it could be given to the homeless, but they won't do it because of health and safety. It's maddening. Just looks at the recent unemployment figure. It is currently hovering around 1.78 million. So there isn't just, there isn't the job vacancies for every single person who is unemployed. Yeah. The rich pay the majority of taxes. Proportionally, they don't. Proportionally, they don't. Comes back to interest on their bank accounts. They are able to invest, therefore they make interest. We, the poor people, can't earn interest on a normal bank account. You can on a cash ISA, but there's only so much money that you can put into it. And most people who earn an average wage, I'm going to guess it's about 25,000 a year to 30,000 a year. That's here in the north. Divide that by 12. Where's my phone? What have I done with my phone? I've left my phone. Good old calculator. So what? 30,000 divided by 12. 2,500 a month. 2,500 a month to live on. So, God, I wish I got that amount of money a month to live on. Yeah. The poor pay for everything. The poor pay for absolutely everything. So, yeah, it is. The rich may pay the majority of the taxes, but proportionally, they don't. And they send their money into hedge funds and abroad and so on. And then you get people like Richard Tice, whose residence is in Dubai. And he's an MP here. Surely all MPs should be forced to live in the United Kingdom. The camel's back is already broke for me. That means if they mess with my life anymore, etc. Currently just waiting for the EHRC guidelines. If it stops my life by. You and I, get yourself a cheap tent. We'll set up somewhere. The rich pay the least taxes compared to their earnings, proven economically. Yeah, that's what I say. Proportionally. It is proof. Gary Economics. Go and watch Gary Economics' videos. He's brilliant. He knows what he's on about, and he is right. And I mean, he is a millionaire, but he completely understands the economy. My nephew's studying economics at the moment as well. While the rich do pay the largest share of total income tax, when it comes to effective tax rates, the richest often pay a lower rate than everyone else due to lower taxes on capital gains. Yeah. Governments have to spend before they tax. They spend money into existence. That is how it works. Yeah. They get interest on playing with our money in the overnight market. Exactly. You know, when you've got Donald Trump doing his fucking thing, starting wars all over the place, stock market, buy, sell. And then everything goes down. Everybody's sold everything. They've made the money and it goes back to normal again. You sit there and you say you take but don't contribute, then turn around and say pay your fair share. I did pay my fair share. And I still pay my fair share because I still pay council tax. I still pay for electricity and gas. I still pay for water. Granted, it's at a reduced rate. But again, it comes to the point where who's going to employ me? Knowing that I'm 57. I have chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. I have chronic kidney disease. I have a complex hiatus hernia. I have various mental health issues. I have a herniated disc in my lower back. I have spondylitis in my neck. But I can tell you now, I raise more money for charity than most people do. And I'm not paid here. I'm doing this service. Yes, people will donate, but my channel's not monetized because I don't have enough subscribers. So, you know, we do contribute. We pay tax on petrol. We pay road tax. We pay tax on food at the shops. There is a contribution. And you must remember that national insurance is not a benefit, it's an entitlement. Anybody who falls into a position where they can't work for whatever reason is entitled to receive money from the government to live on. If they issued a universal basic income, in other words, and yes, this is socialist, perhaps not the extreme socialist and definitely not communist, but if everybody was given a universal basic income, let's say it was £1,500 a month, each person, people would be able to pay their rent, pay their gas, pay their electricity, pay their water, pay their council tax and food, and then have a small portion left over. But why should people who are on entitlements not have a TV, or not have nice clothing, or not have, the ability to go to see a gig or to buy a beer at a pub? Personally, I don't go to pubs, not my cup of tea, but I like to go to gigs. Why should that person who has worked, who has contributed, then be told, no, you don't deserve that because you're not working? Things have gone. Sorry, guys. I know there's a load of messages here. Sorry, I'm definitely doing what the fuck rant today. I need to learn hexas within a month. Hexas are easy. Hexas are very easy. I've cleaned toilets, and the men's toilets are normally worse. However, female toilets can be just as bad, if not worse. Thinking of used sanitary products, shudders. Yeah, I've been into women's toilets. Yeah, I understand. Sorry, I've done commercial and house cleaning. Some people are disgusting. Absolutely. If you came to my house, you'd be shocked. I used to make toilets dirty. UK wealth inequality is high and rising, with the top 10% of households holding 57% of total wealth in 2021, while the bottom 50% owned less than 5%. I have 0%. I have -% because I owe for a loan that I took out for my business that I'll never be able to pay back, ever. Yeah, I did my own tax returns. I did my own accounting. I did accountancy at school. I know how to balance books. Unfortunately, I had to close down my business. To the old Bill, get free bacon sandwiches. Hello, Sir Larry. How are you? No, police officers don't get free or even subsidised meals, as many police stations don't have canteens. That's true. I have free school meals. What's the alternative? Starve. We paid for school meals back when I was a kid. I remember paying my fees. My mum would give us money. So, yeah. The boss of Tesco has seen his pay rise by more than 1 million to 10.8 million. I see the cost of living isn't hitting the supermarkets then. No, it's not. And the thing is, and when you look at the costs, so I know that Liz is good at explaining this, and I know that Phil Morehouse is good at explaining this. So a farmer grows food, right? Tomatoes. Farmer grows tomatoes. They have to grow those tomatoes from seeds. And throughout that process, they need to make sure that the soil is good, that's watered, that it's fertilized, and so on and so on and so on, so that they get a good crop, so they have a higher yield. Then those tomatoes have to be harvested, so somebody has to pick them, and then they have to be sent to, not the store, unless it's a farm stall, but they have to be sent to a processing place that processes those tomatoes and puts them into packaging and then ships them out to different stores. Now, each store has its own packaging, its own labeling, its own barcoding system. So it's going into the packaging and the labeling, it's going into the cost of the transport, it's going into the people who, do that work. Sandwich factory near me. You've got a belt with slices of bread on, and each person puts whatever onto that bread, and it goes down this belt, and it goes into this packaging thing, and it's packaged, and the labels go on, and then it goes into, dispatch, and that gets onto a lorry, and then that goes to the shops, and each shop has its own packaging for those sandwiches. The sandwiches are the same. Some of them have different ingredients, so each line is done differently. And I know this because my ex worked at a sandwich factory, but each line is done differently. And so those costs add up, which is why bought sandwiches, and I will never eat them because I know what happens in the factory. So yeah, don't eat bought sandwiches because they are all made at the same place. They're all made at the same place. They're either made at Solway or Greencore. Sorry, I am going through comments here. I've worked with people with disabilities. Wipe duty sound a crap job, pun intended. Yeah, but someone had to do it. Yeah, my dad. My dad had carers, myself and my sister, and we were doing that. And that's what the poor do. They look after their parents when they're in that situation. The rich send them off to homes. We'll have a look at some hexas that we can do on Wednesday, I think. Remind me. I was cleaning supermarket toilets, so maybe a distinct market. Yeah. Hi, Mithril. Lovely to see you. Thank you for being here. My last pub job, my till was never more than 2p out. A girl came into the job and hers was between 35 and 800 per night. Oh my God. Bloody hell. Bloody hell, Mithril. Fuck's sake. I'm sorry to hear that. 2,500 is a bit higher than average. I'm sure Chris Seal come with Dubai Dicky will come with the costs. Median household wealth in Southeast is over twice that of the North, largely driven by high property values. Yeah. When the Duke of Westminster died, his hair paid nothing in inheritance due to his wealth being banked offshore. I rent from an estate agent, but they manage the land for landowners, specific landowner. And this property that I live in is earmarked to be knocked down for an access road to the land behind, which will have new houses built on it, 1,800 houses. Where I live, the village would not handle it. There isn't enough facilities. The roads from the motorway to here, that they're just not good enough. So they're holding off on building these new houses for money because the land increases in value. When the plans first went through, and I know all this because I've been to the meetings, and anyway, I won't go into too much detail because I could waffle about this forever. But when the plans first went in, there was supposed to be 100 affordable houses, council houses, and that dropped down to 50. So the 1,800 houses, that'll be 1,750 houses, will be 3-bedroom and 4-bedroom luxury homes that people can't afford. And the majority of people that will buy them will be commuting to Sheffield, Doncaster, Nottingham, Derby, Chesterfield, and so on. So they won't even put that money back into the local economy here. Hi, when the food's coming. When is the food coming? I want ice cream. I was just saying earlier on, you may have missed, but I ordered a delivery from Whoosh yesterday and the ice cream didn't come. They didn't sub it. I was very, very, very pissed off. The average wage for 18 to 21-year-olds working full-time is 19,300 a year, and the average wage for someone aged 60 plus is 36,500. So yeah, So pretty much what I worked out to, Chris, you know, I mean, my nephew works, he's studying in college, but he works as well because he likes expensive stuff. He likes designer stuff. He won't buy, you know, stuff from Tesco like I will, or stuff from Shine or whatever, or stuff from charity shops. He saves his money so he can buy a pair of Hoka trainers. Thank you for joining. When's the food coming? I'm so glad you are here. Don't worry about the emoji. Don't worry. We're in swear mode. We're in swear mode. So feel free to swear. You can do silly swears. You can do full-on swears. And don't remember, guys, don't forget that today is chocolate chip cookie day. It is work from home day, and it is pizza party day. So you are allowed to sit there in your pajamas, to eat chocolate chip cookies, and to have pizza for tea. I'm having salad, but you are allowed to do that. They're trying to dehumanize, quote, to dehumanize a victim makes things easier. It's like breathing with a respirator. Exactly. And that's exactly what they're doing with the Muslims, with the Pakistanis, with all of them. They are trying to dehumanize us. They are trying to dehumanize us. And it's, you know, I saw something interesting this morning, Chris C., what we were talking about the other day. South Africa has the highest grape rate in the world. So it's definitely something that I shall be investigating. I've got my mates in South Africa as well, so they can probably get me some decent figures. Hi, Kirsty, lovely to see you. Thank you for being here. Having a very ranty afternoon today. Witchy is fine. Witchy is perfectly fine. And you are more than welcome. A lot of the people you see here in the chat are the same people that follow Tan and Graham and everybody else. We all sort of like hang around together. So, I mean, I've had this channel for a good few years now, but I didn't really do live streams and stuff. And I changed my direction. So now I live stream, 4 times a week, is it? So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. So I live stream on Monday from 6 until 8. That's Misogyny Monday. So I talk about misogyny and feminism and patriarchy. I get very ranty on that one. Wednesday is Witchy Wednesday from 6 until 8. So I talk about witchcraft, but inevitably politics gets thrown in. Friday is 3 p.m. in the afternoon, because obviously you've got loads of people that do their live streams on Fridays. So we all tend to support each other. So that's my What the Fuck Friday, sort of sum up of the week of all the shit that's gone on. And Sunday is Stuff and Nonsense. That's from 6 until 8 again. And it is just stuff and nonsense. I talk about weird stories, odd stories. You know, it's a bit of a laugh show, I think. I try to make people laugh. Today I'm just getting mardy. It's done it again, bloody thing. Where's this gone? If I ever had to do a stream with Liz, I wouldn't be able to hold back. Sod the shock. Yeah, so Larry, I did quite like your panel with that specific person. I only work in my pajamas when I'm really fucked. That shower on a morning perks me up. My granddad worked on a farm and trained as a butcher and was the village butcher and still paid inheritance tax. Yeah. My plan for a hex is something that makes someone very itchy. It's transmitted. Okay. Lovely. Please make sure they are armor piercing. I want to make sure I hit my mark. Sorry. Hi, Canadian. Elbows up. Brilliant. Lovely to see you here. That is fantastic, Ollie man. Fantastic. Thank you for joining. I've got a mate, well, a couple of mates actually. One who lives in Edmonton, and I think I went to school with her. We were best mates at school. And I think the other one, I'm not sure where she lives now. but she and her family are living in Canada now as well. And I had a few clients in Canada when I was doing readings online too. So it's lovely to have some Canadians in the chat. Thank you for joining. I was looking at court listings and found a judge. Okay. Oh, it's done the jumpy thing again. Farmer Liz, yeah, Farmer Liz. Don't feel qualified to answer the poll question. I don't know enough about the candidates. That's okay. You don't have to, everybody has a choice. I don't say that you have to or not answer the poll. It's just there, to get an idea of what people think. In fact, let's have a look at that quickly. Let's see where we are with that. So we've got Rayner on 53% now, Ed Miliband on 11%, West Streeting on 5% and 32% for Andy Byrne. Who the fuck is voting for West Streeting? Who here is voting for West Streeting? Hand up. Let's ridicule you. I personally support Rayner, although I'm not a Labour Party member anymore, so I can't vote for them. But the reason I support Rayner, I love her. I love her voice. I love the fact that she takes no shit, that she was always brilliant when she did PMQs as the deputy. She wears new rocks, so I love that. And she's a woman. And I really think that Labour need a woman because they've never had one. And I really think it's important that we have a female Prime Minister from Labour. Just my perspective. Oh, it's done the jumpy thing again. The wealth of Britain's 157 billionaires. That's 157 billion at least, because some of them will have more than 1 billion. Take 1 billion, divide it by 68 million in the country. What the fuck are you going to do with £1 billion? What are you going to do with £1 billion? There's only so many things that you can buy, that you can use. Is now equivalent to more than a fifth of the country's entire GDP, according to analysis by the Equality Trust, a 5-fold increase since 1990. Yeah. Weasel Wes. Hi, Doc Davis. Lovely to see you. When I worked for NPower, I had to deal with a customer who was prosecuting barrister. His name was Mr. Slaughter. Oh, what a name. What a name. People have a thing for Lego figures, and Wes was modelled on one. I said that, Sir Larry, at the beginning. I said he looks like a Lego person. He does. He just looks like a Lego person. You'd never get me voting for Streeting. I don't vote for leopards eating the face candidates. Absolutely. Potato Head West Streeting. That's another good name. The 157 billionaires hold just under 670 billion, more than 22p in every pound. In 1989, 15 billionaires had a total of 27 billion, about 4p in every pound of GDP at the time. £1 billion. Sit in my room and chuckle maniacally. Yeah, that's it. Scrooge McDuck. Scrooge McDuck sat there counting the money. Smaug. Which reminds me, Aragorn in the new Lord of the Rings that's coming up. It's going back to before the actual Lord of the Rings book, but after The Hobbit. So there was an article that I was going to read the other day, and I never got round to reading it to you guys, about the fact that they're changing Aragorn's name back to Strider, because Strider was the ranger name that he had. And people were saying, well, why are they changing his name? that was the name, and he changed it to Aragorn in Lord of the Rings. So just saying. I have a claim at work for Dr. Slaymaker. I'm not sure what that is. Okay. Well, I'm finally down to the bottom of the comments. Yay. Right. So let's have a listen to Titchy Tiny Tommy having a moan. Sorry. Put your fingers in your ears and la, 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 la if you don't want to hear him. But this came up on my feed earlier. Sorry, one of my cats is just walking across the drive. This week, UNICEF ranked Britain 24th for child well-being, 28th for mental well-being, 35th for income inequality, and 25th for child poverty among wealthy countries. Wow. Oh, Dr. Slaymaker. Okay. Yeah, Tiny Tommy. So this is little Tim Tom Twatty Yaxley Twatty. I disagree. His name was always Aragorn. Yes, he was known as Strider to the people of Bree. He was, but it was his main character. You know, that was, you're right there, Ollie. You are right. But they're taking it back to Strider for the book, for the next film. So, yeah. And that is how he was introduced to Frodo and the rest. Yeah, he was. Tommy of the many names. Yes, Yakka Lennon. Yeah, he was. You are right. It's a long time since I read Lord of the Rings, to be honest. I read it again for the second time when the first movie before the first movie came out. And I was very upset that they cut out a few of the bits, especially with Goldberry. This is my Lord of the Rings. Yeah, the whole thing in one. So this was when was this printed? 1987. I've had this since 1987. I think it was one of the first books that I bought when I left school, because I worked at a news agency. Just finished reading Lord of the Rings about 2 weeks ago, so it's still fresh in your mind. Yeah. I've watched those movies so many times, but it is one of my favourite books. It just takes a long time to read. Tiny Tommy bitching about the government banning 11 right-wing agitators for entering the UK. Pass me the violin, the little teeny tiny one. Right, let's have a listen.
This is a direct message to any police officer serving tomorrow for the Metropolitan Police Force, or drafted in from outside areas around the country, as I'm sure you're going to be, for the demonstration tomorrow. We are not the enemy. When you're getting suited and you're getting talked to by your superiors, because a lot of it's political policing, for a decade we were clashed against each other, purposely politically policed in order to create a violent, hostile situation where officers drew batons, officers were prepared wearing riot gear when they didn't need to be, and tensions rose time and time again. What we're asking you directly is please stand calm. We will do everything for our own supporters if they step out of line, okay? We don't want clashes. So if you're...
They're the ones that cause the clashes. When you see the marchers, and I'm going to talk about the Palestine March tomorrow as well, because was Palestine Day this week, and it was mentioned on one of my morning messages shows this week. I can't remember which day it was, because I record the morning messages days in advance, because I don't have time to do them every day. But they're the ones that cause the shit, because they all take the little plastic bags from the supermarket with the cans of Stella, they get pissed, and that's it. Then they're all looking for a scrap. That's what they do. Cheers, everyone. Your break is over. Thank you so much, Ollie Man, for joining. I'm so glad you did. Mwah. Stay blessed. Hello, Gazlon. Lovely to see me doing yoga again. Well, in the future. I will be doing it online. Well, the videos, I will be going back to them. I'm just busy sorting out the yoga room at the moment because it's a tip. It's sort of become a dumping ground. Right. So, yeah, they are the ones that cause the shit. When you see the marchers that are against the fucking twat-head right-wing fascists, they don't cause shit.
If you're senior ranking officers, and I'm going to share, because there's a police officer who's telling us this is what they used to tell them. If they're preparing you for a big battle, we're not coming for a big battle, okay? We are, you're not going into a war against lots of hooligans tomorrow. The people that are there tomorrow are the people at the school gates with you. They're the people in Asda next to you, the people queuing up next to you in the bank, the everyday decent people. And we support you, the police. We know you've had your hands tied behind your back. The reputation of the Metropolitan Police Force has been dragged through the mud, through political policing. The best police force in the world become a laughingstock on the global stage. So a direct message is just don't draw your baton so easily to be in British protesters, please. Please allow for a moment of clarity and calmness, and allow other people to intervene to try and calm the situation if any of these situations arise. Because we're coming for a family, beautiful celebration. Ignore what the government are telling you. They want you to clash. They want us to clash. We don't want to clash. I've sat with your senior ranking officers last year when they tried to put us against each other then. And we both understood what they were doing. We both agreed we want what's best for the public tomorrow. You want a safe environment. We want a safe environment. We don't want to be clashing with you guys. We support you. Okay? So we don't want you drawing batons on us. If your higher ranking officers are detailing you, and you know there's prams and there's women and there's old people, question what they're telling you. Question why. Is that the right decision for a safe environment for London tomorrow? And hopefully the message is filtered through your police force, because I know things have changed in our operation and the way we deal with you and your senior ranking officers in the negotiations and the planning for these events. But we are fully aware of the lengths this government are going to go to and want to go to try and cause disruption and chaos and anarchy on the streets of our capital city. They done it last year. They attempted it. They will try something this year. So to the individual officer, to the young officers for the first time putting your riot gear on, we're not your enemy. We're not coming for a fight with you. We're coming to celebrate our country. We hope you celebrate it too. We want to be shaking your hands at the end of that event tomorrow. We want to be leaving with smiles on our faces and looking at that government and all of us, you and us, sticking our fingers up at them. Okay? Because they did not succeed in what they wanted. We succeeded in uniting the kingdom, including you, the police, all right? God bless. We look forward to a fun and enjoyable day out tomorrow.
So what do you think? I can see people at the school gates with you, the ones that don't have kids. Yeah, he's the wannabe hooligan. Luton Miggs think he's a joke and say he wouldn't even make it as their mascot. Always amazes me that he makes out he is a hard man, then demands he is placed in solitary when he is sent to prison because he fears for his safety on the wings. Who does this little upstart think he is? The police have briefings before marches. They certainly won't be asking this little twerp for any advice. That's true. Yeah, I mean, look at what has happened at every Tiny Tommy march. Always aggro, always aggro, always pissing up against the walls, always puke everywhere. They're just disgusting. Yeah, there probably will be some, grandparents and mothers and babies and that there, and I hope that they're safe. I do hope that they're safe, but the police know which ones are the naughty shits. They have facial recognition on the cameras, and they will be aware of where the points are that will be a problem. And I actually did pull up the maps, to be honest, of the two marchers. Because their march starts, I think, Tiny Tim's. Yeah, I've got the routes here. Yeah, it's the Nakba 78 rallies, which is the Palestine Day rally. So timings and restrictions. So Met Police is launching an unprecedented operation to stop violence and hate speech erupting in London at 2 marches on FA Cup final day. Oh my God. Armed police units will be on standby in what will be one of Scotland Yard's biggest ever public order operations on Saturday. Who's in the final tomorrow, and where is it being held? Is it held at Wembley? Because I don't follow football, so I don't even know who's in the final. For the first time, live facial recognition and new powers to target hate speech will be used to maintain public order. So yeah, they know who the little shits are. Police chiefs are concerned that football hooligans may head to London on FA Cup final day to join the Unite the Kingdom march, which is expected to be led by Titchy, whose real name... some 4,000 officers, including 660 from outside London, will be deployed in the capital to prevent violence, anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim and other hate speech. Here's everything to know about the 2 rallies. So the Unite the Kingdom march, people taking part in the Unite the Kingdom must remain in Kingsway until the rally begins. So the route is, mustn't deviate from the route, Kingsway, Aldwych, Strand, Trafalgar Square, Whitehall and Parliament Square. This is on Yahoo News website, guys. Timings, according to a flyer posted on X by Twithead, protesters will gather at 11 a.m. with the march expected to begin around 1 p.m. Speeches or music at the post-march assembly must end by 5:30. Speeches, organisers and speakers at the assembly must ensure all content displayed and broadcast, including speeches, pre-recorded videos and imagery, does not include content likely to stir up racial or religious hatred. The NACBAR 78 united against Tommy Robinson and the far-right protest. The start must remain in Exhibition Road until the march begins. The route, anyone participating in the march must not deviate from the route, which is Exhibition Road, Cromwell Gardens, Brompton Road, Knightsbridge, Piccadilly and Pall Mall. According to one of the organisers' Palestine Solidarity Campaign, the protest will begin at 12 p.m. Speeches or music at the post-march assembly must finish by 5 p.m. and the assembly must finish by 5:30. Speeches, organisers and speakers at the assembly must ensure all content displayed and broadcast, including speeches, pre-recorded videos and imagery, does not include content likely to stir up racial or religious hatred. How many people are expected? Around 50,000 are expected by the Met to join Unite the Kingdom, and about 30,000 to mark Nakba Day. What is the Coppers' approach? Given the scale of the challenge to keep law and order with 2 marchers on FA Cup final day, the Met's plan involves the most assertive possible use of powers, including strict conditions. Yeah, so the football hooligans have been warned as well. Okay, it's between Chelsea and Manchester City. Like, I care. But being a northerner, I would have to support Man City. Deputy Assistant Commissioner James Harman said, we need to be mindful this Saturday of the history of football hooligan groups supporting causes fronted by Twathead. Speakers who engage in anti-Semitic and anti-Muslim or other hate speech will face arrest, and protest organisers may also be prosecuted under police powers being used for the first time. People who use chants such as death to the IDF or globalise the Intifada will face arrest, as will individuals who commit anti-Muslim hatred. Live facial recognition, first-time use, public order operation. So yeah, at least 7 people have been barred from entering the UK to take part in the protest. They include US-based political commentator Valentina Gomez, she's been banged before, and Belgian politician Philip de Winter. So yeah, that's going to be fun tomorrow. So I'm sure there'll be shit on live. So the far-right agitators that are banned from the rally, I'm just trying to find their names here. I am looking at this list. So Valentina Gomez, US commentator Joey Manorino, Spanish far-right personality Ada Luch, who supports anti-woke and anti-Islam causes, Dutch anti-immigration activist Eva Vladingerbroek, who was promoted Sorry, for those who don't know, broek, B-R-O-E-K, in Afrikaans means panties. And Dinger, what's Dinger? Kirsty, what's Dinger? I can't onthou nie. Conspiracy theories and spoke at a previous rally, also had her right to travel to the UK revoked in January, with 3 other banned figures remaining unnamed. So some of the people are unnamed. So yeah, that's all very interesting. That it's probably going to kick off tomorrow in London. Don't go anywhere near London, guys. It's not worth it. It's not worth the hassle. Just watch on your phones. That's all I can say. Man City versus Chelsea. They did that the day so that, yeah, the footy supporters will join them. Yeah, it's the 70s and 80s all over again. Parents got a warning to stay away from town on bank holidays. Yeah. Who would be kettled very quickly? I have some more bad news for Tiny Tim. The Met Police will be using yeah. I'm glad they're using facial recognition. So anybody who's wearing a mask will be told to remove it. So that to me, that's a good thing. I think that's a really good thing that people are, being recognized for the hooligans that they are. I'm all for protest. We should all be allowed to protest. That is a right that we have. But it's when the protesters become the agitators. Look what happened at the Capitol. January the 6th, wasn't it? I can't remember which year it was now. All it takes is one person to say, go and do this, and then they go and do it because they're a bunch of idiots. Tell them to jump off a cliff, they will. They'll all jump off a cliff. Turning the cities and towns into public loos, absolutely. Rumour has it that Tommy picked up more than his fair share of soap in the shower. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting day tomorrow. So I'm going to be hopefully working in the garden tomorrow if it's not raining, and I'll have my phone and speaker on to listen to what's going on. What's his name? The New Zealand guy on GB News. He's got a thing upcoming. Dan Wootton. He's got a thing coming up on it, so I might watch that. Can't stand him. Probably kept him as Section 21 prisoner. After all, he does like to hang around with some of them. He refused to go on the VP wings, so stayed in a segregation unit, which does surprise me, as normally refusing a lawful request order means extra days are normally added. They probably wanted to get rid of him as soon as possible, to be honest. I mean, he was probably moaning at everything. Pantaloons. No, pants, as in knickers. Brook. That's what it means, anyway. That's why I was laughing. Sorry, I couldn't help myself because she's called pants. Hopefully they cause trouble and everyone can see what they are really about. I just hope if they do cause trouble that no children and elderly people are injured in that. That's what I hope. It's also interesting that the Unite the Kingdom March has been planned to coincide with Nakba Day, and that marks the mass displacement of Palestinians in 1948. Yeah. Ban them from future marches. Big girl pants. Yeah, big girl pants. Just call me Bridget. Police force across England are sending officers down to London, including the BTP, and you don't want to be fucking around with the BTP. Who are the BTP? British Transport Police. Okay. Okay, yeah, figured it out. They'll cancel all police leave. Yeah. They will have known about this for a long time. Dan Wotton, yes, Kirsty, definitely. Spam Wooden, yep. At previous rallies, they have brought in the Royal Military Police just in case there are any squaddies involved, but the RMPs also have the authority to detain civilians as well. Yeah, so let's, I think both of these marches are going to be incredibly difficult tomorrow. I think there's going to be a lot of aggro on both sides. I do. I stand with Palestine because what Israel are doing is disgusting. I'm not right wing. I'm far from right wing. I detest that. So it's going to be absolute chaos in London tomorrow. So if anybody's planning on going to London tomorrow, unless you're going to the riots, don't go. Just don't go. Just change your plans. Yeah, what a nightmare with the Farc Up. Yeah, the Farc Up, just absolute nightmare. Daniela, absolutely. Absolutely. I think you guys all know that I support the far left and stand up for all the people that can't stand up for themselves. Because, yeah, I see the injustices of the world and it makes me so mad. It makes me so angry. And I think, sorry, why would I go to London? Exactly, Mithril. Why would you? Why would you? I've been a few times. I've done the touristy things. But it's so bloody expensive. God, everything's expensive. The last time I was in London was in 2016 to see Kate Bush. I think it was the 6th of September, 2016. And we stayed in a hotel. Oh my God, the hotel was disgusting. But anyway, that's a story for another day. So, well, at least today I can run over 5 p.m. a bit because Daz is on holiday. So might miss Wednesday. Oh, bless you. Don't, Mel, if you're going to miss Wednesday, I'll talk about other stuff. And, I can do hexas the week after. So, just let me know. I know I don't read my messages. Let me know in the chats. I got to go from time to time as that's where I come from and I moved out of there. Yeah, I do like London. I just don't like it when it's busy. I did Oxford Street on a Saturday. Oh God, just people. And it's like, I couldn't breathe. It's a lovely city. I used to go down every 12 months for heart checkups. Mind you, my debit card ran off when I decided to take a look around Harrods. Yeah, I didn't go into Harrods. I liked Soho. I did like Soho. Pity that the actual shop itself that I wanted to see has changed from what it was originally. I did like Kensington Gardens because I wanted to see the Peter Pan statue. I know it's just from a Kate Bush song. I've done the Tower and the Bridge and Trafalgar Square and the dungeon. I love the London dungeons. That was brilliant. Actually, I'll get the photo out from the London dungeons. It was really funny. As you come out, there's like stocks, and you get your photo taken. You head in the stocks, and they, somebody's with the axe. And the guy who was taking the photos says to me, "You go to the doors, don't you?" Yeah, I've seen you headbanging on the stage. Oh my God. Yes, fame. I saw Kate Bush in 2016. I got into an argument with a goth woman in a grimy hotel. Wait, no, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. Promise. I promise. I was absolutely fucking knackered after that gig. Peter Pants. I was under the care of the Royal Brompton Hospital in South Kensington, so was near the Natural History and Science Museums. I went on the cable car over the Thames and visited the O2 for a wee wander. From the DK's riot, the unbeatable high riot, shoots your nerves to the sky riot, playing the right into their hands tomorrow, you're homeless tonight, it's a blast. So many people went to the doors. It's world famous. It is world famous. Absolutely world famous. I was just shocked. And even the guy that I was with, because I was with my boyfriend at the time, and you know, I met him at the doors, and we used to go to the doors all the time. And he was like, yeah, it's just bizarre. You're in London, 8,000 bloody kilometers or whatever from South Africa, and some guy recognizes you from being pissed headbanging. This interview was from Piers Morgan. I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's an hour and a half. So I'm just going to pick out little bits that I've sort of watched most of it on and off. You know, it's been on in the background. Now, Ben Habib is on here. And there's two MAGA guys who I recognize. The one, he's got a beard. And the other one I don't recognize, he's also got a beard. But Ava Santini is on it. Ava Santina is on it. She was from Politics Joe. And what's said to her, I was like, fucking hell. So I'm going to see if I can find that clip. Yeah, here we go. So it's timestamped, which is good. So hopefully I've got the right place. Right, let's have a listen.
Visible, Andrew Wilson, Ava Santini, lead political editor at Politics Joe, a Green Party activist in Perth Bank.
Can you hear okay?
Associate Professor Ashok Kumar, and Ben Habib, leader of Farage's rival Advance UK, and the co-founder of Vice Media and the Proud Boys, Gavin McInnes. All right, well, welcome to you.
Proud Boys.
It's certainly a perfect panel to debate all this. Ava Santini, there are these two marches, I believe fundamentally in free speech, that includes the right to peacefully protest and to peacefully march and protest if you see fit. Do you have an intrinsic problem with the Tommy Robinson Unite for the Kingdom march?
I'm going to surprise you and say no. I am actually very pro-protest, and I think that any protest that people would like to hold, I do think should be granted in the United Kingdom. If you want to turn up and make a fool of yourself and spout racist nonsense, then that is your right to do so, because we live in a democratic society and a country that does allow that. I'm actually really interested in something you brought up in your introduction there, Piers, because you talked about the number of arrests that had allegedly happened at a March for Palestine rally. Actually, if you look at the Tommy Robinson rallies over the last couple of years, there have been a whole number of arrests. Just last September, there were 20 officers who were injured because people were throwing bottles at them. There was an officer with a broken nose. I mean, can you imagine that, smashing up a policeman's nose? It doesn't really seem very patriotic to me. But again, if they want to be idiotic and act like that, then fine. It's not my problem.
And to be clear, on the Palestine march, should anybody have a banner saying, or a chart that says globalize the intifada, for example, what would you feel about that?
I'm not a theologian, so it's not something that I can really speak to. I understand that the Jewish community have expressed upset when that phrase is being chanted. I actually think there are much bigger things to worry about on those marches at times. I think there have been a couple of people who have showed some anti-Semitic tropes And actually, thankfully, the March for Palestine group have kicked those people out and have been very forceful about them not attending.
But that
those
phrase, the
marches.
globalised
But I would
intifada,
say, I think we get really distracted by this phrase. You know, people who go on these marches are not going on these marches because they don't like Jewish people or because they do actually want to see, I don't know, an Islamic regime in the United Kingdom or whatever ridiculousness the right wing are peddling now in this country. They go because they do not like British taxpayer money being spent on bombs that are being sent to Gaza and potentially killing children. That's what they don't like, and that's where our focus should be.
okay.
I absolutely agree. Why are we still sending bombs to Israel? Why? Why are we still doing that? Why can't that money actually be put into, you know, universal basic income? Why? Why does it have to, you know, support another war that's killing people unnecessarily? And it is a genocide. It is a genocide. And my heart breaks because all of those poor people have lost their homes. They were already shunted out of the way once, and now they're being shunted again. I've seen pictures of children starving and not having food, and it reminds me of Ethiopia back in the 80s, and it's just awful. It's just awful. She did get straight to the point. I think she's brilliant. I do like Ava. I do like her a lot, but her hair's changed and I don't like it. It's a darker blonde, and it's like she looks a lot like Rachel, but not Rachel from Friends. So I'm not keen on her new hair. I liked it before. Who said sheep BI? Sheep BI. Sheep BI? Sheep BI. What am I not getting here? This not clicking. This not clicking. Max's ears will be burning. UBI. Okay, UBI. UBI. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I know Max believes in UBI. I believe in UBI. I think that every single person in the world should have a UBI. They should have a home. They should have food. They should have water. They should have heating or cooling. And they should have an education. And that should all be free. I quite like Ava's new hair, but I know what you mean about her looking like Rachel from Friends. Yeah, there is that. It's a bit longer than Rachel's was, but it's still just, yeah. I had a hairdo similar to Rachel from Friends once, but I used to be called Phoebe a lot when I had long blonde hair. So, because I was more like Phoebe, I guess. Even though I was still goth, I was more of a hippie goth.
Andrew Wilson, your response to that?
Well, that's not really true. They're not. It is true in a sense that they are anti-Israel and anti what's going on with Gaza and all of that. But they're not really turning out for that reason in the UK. They're turning out because they're saying that the other side is racist. They're saying that Tommy Robinson's protest is a bunch of racists. I mean, you can read article after article of the opposition saying this. So I'm fully 100% behind these rallies. I think that they need to remove remove the Muslim element from the UK altogether. That's what I would advocate for. Yes, that's correct.
What are you talking about?
Remove the Muslim element.
Well,
It means no more mass migration from Muslim nations to the UK. That's insane.
But we have about 5 million Muslims in the UK. What would you do with them?
Well, the ones that are there, you can't do very much about, but you can do something about continuing the immigration policies. It's suicidal empathy. You don't need to do it.
So just to be clear, Andrew, you wouldn't let any Muslims into the country?
Yeah. Well, people have a right. They have an autonomous right to determine who comes into their nation and who doesn't. If the people of the nation don't want a people group to come into their nation, that is their right. Just like it's the right of people in Muslim nations to make those determinations for themselves as well.
I just find that whole thing totally ludicrous. I mean, if you knew anything about net migration to the United Kingdom, it doesn't come from quote unquote Muslim countries. There are not Muslim people who are breaking into the country and trying to turn it into, I don't know, some sort of Islamic state. Like, it's simply not happening here. And I really worry about the sort of talking points that you are spouting and potentially you are reading. I mean, I live in London. I've always lived in London. This is not a reality.
Who's your mayor? Who's your mayor in
What's
London?
that?
What's actually incorrect though
Yeah,
about?
Sadiq Khan. And what about it?
Let's
look at some more of your leaders.
Well, hang on, Gavin, I will come to you.
I just want to know what's actually incorrect about me saying if the people of the UK do not want any more migration of Muslim immigrants into their nation. Can you give me a single moral argument for why that's
Well, that's simply not true. Well, where have you got that idea? Apart from Tommy Robinson. Other than Tommy Robinson, Andrew, honestly, to be honest, other than Tommy Robinson marching around the airways in America saying that, I have not seen any poll in the UK which says the UK people don't want any Muslims coming into the country.
Yeah, I understand.
It's not
That's
true.
not my question. My question.
That pickle jar thing, Mithril, I was thinking about that today. That's so funny because I was trying to open a jam jar. Sometimes jam jars get stuck, don't they? Because bits of jam get underneath the thing. Anyway, I couldn't do it. So I just stabbed a hole in the top because all it needs to do is let out that air and then that's it. I always have a penknife in my handbag, a proper Swiss Army penknife, you know, one of the big ones. And I've got a multi-tool as well in my handbag, as well as a torch and hand sanitizer and a fan and tissues and a mirror and one of those plastic raincoat things, you know, those in the packets, and a small fold-up brolly, my purse, couple of pairs of sunglasses, and because I've got a few pairs of glasses as well. Tissues, did I say tissues? Dental floss, lip stuff, you know, lip stuff, headache pills, stomach pills. I'm pretty good at packing a handbag, to be honest. No, so he couldn't open that pickle jar. Yeah, he's very misogynist, isn't he? He must have been at Trump University where they learn bigly words and great numbers. Yeah. 2021 census, the Muslim population in the UK was just under 4 million, representing approximately 6% to 6.5% of total population. The Muslim population of the UK has never caused me trouble. No, it never has caused trouble. I hate to say this, but it is the British that caused the trouble. Run the lid under hot water, it expands and makes it easy to open a jar. I just stab a hole in the top and take the jar off the lid off the old one and swap the lids around. Tommy and his best friend Russell Brand having nice cozy dinner. Yeah. I'm still working on my Russell Brand video. I've got one of the scripts here. I just need to type it up and change it, and then a whole load of stuff to add to it. So yeah. Hippie goth, yeah, the book mentioned a witch type like that. No rules, esoteric, yeah. Esoteric or eclectic. Generation game, yeah. So let's go back to this.
Question is, if it were the case that the people of the UK no longer wanted Muslim migration into their nation, what is even the moral argument against that? What?
I am very concerned about actually Christian evangelicism that's seeping over into the United Kingdom from the United States. And I think that is actually a source for much of our discontent. I've always lived in London and we don't have a single problem with integration between religions in the country. I've never experienced that in my life. May I finish the start? I would just like to stay on Sadiq Khan for one moment there. Sadiq Khan has won a landslide victory on his third term. That's 3 times he's been elected as mayor of London. Now, if there was a huge problem with Sadiq Khan, why on earth would such a huge proportion of Londoners from all creed, all race, Why would they continue to
Because
vote in
London's
it?
gone. London isn't Britain anymore.
Where's it gone?
Where was the last time
60%.
you were here?
Where is London gone?
60% of Londoners weren't born in London. They weren't born in the United Kingdom. I
Says
think that's
Ben
the point
Habib.
Andrew's making.
Where's
But-
where is London gone?
I
London, I live in
London has
London.
gone to the
Just-
midst
I live in
of
London. I
diversity.
think it's got.
London-
I see one of the most vibrant, dynamic cities in the world.
It may be vibrant.
Pierce,
It
go to
may be
Harrods.
dynamic.
Go to Harrods
but
after this and tell me what country you're in.
Where?
It may be. It may be.
Hang on.
Harrods.
What was
I'm
that?
gonna
Go
go
where? Harrods.
Yes.
Well, actually, you've now reminded me to play a clip because you came on my show last week. You then went on, I think, Glenn Beck, and you said this.
Are you feeling wide
Sorry,
but tired from
advert.
your morning coffee? Well,
Piers is an elite. He's never been to Luton. He doesn't understand the working class. You know, he probably doesn't go to any football matches with these people. He's got his own little box. And they don't understand that the Muslim problem is within the working class. They're not in, you know, Cheddington. They're not in the West London.
Yeah.
They're not in South England. They're all concentrated in Birmingham, in Rotherham, in Luton, and those towns are gone.
Just to clear up, I've been to Luton many times.
I live near Rotherham. I've been to Rotherham. It's not that bad. They have body, mind, and spirit fairs there that I've been to. It's not that bad. I've never noticed any problems there. Yes, there was the grooming gangs, but the grooming gangs happen in pretty much all cities around the world, not just here in the United Kingdom. And Russell Brand groomed a 16-year-old. Coming up in my video. I shall talk about it more then.
I go to football all the time. I often sit with regular
Have you
fans.
been to a Luton match?
Hang on.
No one in the stands at a Luton match is
Well, I wouldn't go to a Luton football match because the leader of the Luton football hooligan firm for a long time was a guy called Stephen Yaxley, who's now Tommy Robinson. In fact, he has multiple criminal convictions for running.
Why is no one in the
Wait a
stands at a
second,
Luton
Gavin.
match
Wait a
from
second.
Luton?
I'm
Not one
responding.
person
I'm responding
in
to
the
what you
stands
told
is from
Glenn
Luton.
Beck. If you ask why I don't go and watch Luton Town, A, I'm an Arsenal fan and we're about to win everything. But secondly, Luton Town had a big hooligan problem caused by Tommy Robinson under his real name, Stephen Yaxley. He was the
What's the
leader
matter with
of the
hooliganism?
hooligan mob.
What is the problem with hooliganism? It's mutual combat. It's a sport.
It's
in and
not
of
mutual
itself.
combat.
You're
It's a bunch
top.
of it's a
You're
bunch of
posh. And
Neanderthals
you've told
beating
Glenn
each
Beck
other up and
not
dragging
to
in
go to this
civilians.
rally.
And let me
You
finish my
told him
point.
not to join Tommy Robinson.
Gavin,
That's anti-Britain.
Gavin, I'm going to
Tommy
come to your
Robinson is pro-Britain.
Gavin. You don't even ask my, I haven't even asked my view yet. My point is, I'm responding to what you told Glenn Beck. I go to football all the time. I've been a football fan for 45, 50 years. I regularly stood on the terraces with the working class fans. Let me tell you about hospitality boxes at Arsenal, for example. They're full of working class people who've done well for themselves. Why you would think over in America that somehow only people who are not working class watch football from hospitality boxes is bullshit. So please allow me to educate
the fundamental
you
problem
about football
with
grounds in this
Britain right now.
country. Right?
I went to Doncaster Rovers last game when they were playing at Bellevue. It was before the pitch was knocked down, and then they moved to the Keep Moat Stadium, and they actually won. It was my cousin who took me because he was a season ticket holder, and he said, "Oh, you can come with me all the time because they won." So that's Doncaster Rovers, and his two daughters, twins, actually played for Doncaster Bells. And they were really good. The girls' team, not the women's team, but they were really good. Let's have a look at some comments here. Managed to do the survey data up that they only sampled 1,791 people, with 840 of those aged 50 and over. Exactly. Younger generations do not, and I'm not saying all, because I'm Gen X and I'm 57, but younger generations accept and just get on with it and just don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. if, you know, that person wants to be this or that person wants to be that, look at me. You know, I dress how I want. I don't care. Let's have a look. Hi, Sarah. Lovely to see you. No problem. You'll get your fine in the post. I'm joking. Has that Yank been to London? He actually was born in the UK. I think he was born in Luton and moved to America when he was young. He does actually say it further on. I used to live there and the whole thing is bollocks. Tommy came from middle class part of Luton. Okay, you would never get grooming gangs in America, not like at Epstein Island. It's squeaky clean and nothing to see there. Yeah. I lived on the Luton-Dunstable border till I was 8, safe place back then. He was no leader. He was a wannabe. He was nothing to the MIGs. Biggest grooming gangs in the USA were the mega churches. Absolutely. There's a couple of documentaries on Netflix at the moment that are about that. I've been watching some of them, and it's the sort of Mormon type. I'm not saying they are Mormon, but the Mormon type churches where the women are all married to the same guy. You know, and you know the way that they groom those women, and they wear the same clothes. It's terrifying. But then you've got groomers like Tate, who groomed who knows how many women. Obviously, those cases are still ongoing. Whether they'll ever get to court, I don't know. But to be honest, he seems to have disappeared into the nether regions of sweaty bollocks, doesn't he? Is anything on later? Indeed, no. I think Aid Thompson is next, isn't he, at about 7-ish? And then Max is on later. I think the Friday night social is now Sunday night social, isn't it? So has Luton got an airport? Luton Airport, I remember that song. You feel uncomfortable agreeing with Piers Morgan? Yeah, me too. 8 at 7:30, yeah. You might not like Morgan, but he does occasionally push back hard. He does, and he does push back against Russell Brand as well, which I'm including in the video because I'm also including a couple of other. It'll be a series of videos because there's a lot of information that I want to put into it. I have already done videos on Russell Brand previously, so I need to rewatch that and get the information from there as well. According to Lorraine Chase, it has, but yes, it does. And regular flights got from Luton Airport to Europe, especially Spain. Christian nationalists, yeah. Real blast from the past, yeah. No, Doc Davis, Darren's on holiday. He was supposed to meet David, wasn't he, from the Two Davies yesterday, but his car broke down. Not Darren's car, David's car broke down. Not mad about Aid for some reason. Doc, I like some of his stuff. I do. I think he's got a very different style. So I really do enjoy his stuff. Yeah. I'm, you know, I follow all of them, all of the ones that we all follow and that are all on the same group. And we all have our favorites and we all have our not so favorites, and that's fine. We have to. I'm pretty sure most people don't like me, and that's okay as well. I don't really care. Aid cheers me up. Yes, he does. He is very funny. He's got a really good sense of humor. But there are people that won't like me and think, well, she's a fucking lunatic, and that's okay because I am a lunatic. But I just want to say thank you to all of you that do watch me and that do support the channel. And if you would like to support the channel monetarily, the link to my Buy Me a Coffee is in the description box that is pinned, to the pinned comment. So that would be most helpful towards my new break discs. If Chrissy or Elle or Diz could pop up the link for Aid's channel and for Max's channel for later on, that would be brilliant. Thank you. Tommy was last arrested at Luton Airport for headbutting some poor bloke. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I did see that. We know you're a lunatic, but a lovely lunatic. Oh, thank you.
And I'm not an elitist. I went to a state school with working class people. I consider myself working class. My parents ran.
Why did you tell Glenn Beck not to meet up
in the
with Tommy
south of
Robinson?
England, for God's sake, right? I am a
Why
working
did you tell
class
Glenn
man.
Beck to avoid Tommy?
I'll tell you why I avoid Tommy, because he's an absolute charlatan with a string of criminal convictions as long as his arm. You've tried to defend him. I got to do a thread, you said last year, on all Tommy's crimes. They showcase Britain's madness. Let's go through these crimes. Assault, 2005. Common assault, 2011. Leading a 100-man football brawl in 2011, using a false passport to enter the US, and mortgage fraud. Reported jailings,
You don't know the background of these crimes. The
I've studied it more than you have.
Example.
Yeah, I've studied it more than you have. Let me finish my point, then you can respond. Repeated jailings in 2017, 2019, most recently in October 2024, not because of his free speech being suppressed because of his ridiculous film he brought out that you all fell for, but because actually he lost a high-profile libel action and was ordered to pay £100,000 in damages after falsely accusing a 15-year-old Syrian refugee of being violent. And then he lied about it in his film, and that was a repeat of the defamation, a breach of the contempt of court, and he went to prison for it. You're all being taken for mugs in America by Tommy Robinson.
I've got to intercede. Whether or
Ben
not
Habib.
that Syrian boy was guilty of the accusations made against him is academic. The point is that the civil case that was founded against Tommy Robinson was a civil case. And Lord Hermer politicized the whole thing. Lord Hermer being the Attorney General.
So did Piers.
A political appointment.
No, I didn't.
A political appointment ennobled in order to get him into the cabinet, decided to elevate the importance of that civil case to a criminal level. And he can only do that if he can convince himself that that is a matter of public interest. That jailing of Tommy Robinson in 2024 was a political jailing.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
It was
Oh, come
there was a court order
No.
to stop him repeating his lies
people who
about
preach-
that Syrian
This
refugee.
is why
It
May
was-
16th is
there
going
was
to
a
pop
court
off
order.
because of people like you.
Yeah,
No,
but
it's going to be
you're
better.
not
You're all
May
being
16th.
sold.
Mark my words.
You are all being
Here's a
completely.
because
You're
I've
all
studied
being
the case.
completely duped
I've
by Tommy
studied-
Robinson.
I haven't
By the
been
way,
duped.
let's
I've
call him
studied the
Stephen.
case.
His real name is Stephen.
I've studied
He's not
the
even
case.
called Tommy Robinson.
Congratulations.
I've studied the case.
Wow.
I've studied the case. It's got nothing to do with whether or not that Syrian boy was rightfully or wrongfully accused of what he was doing. What it's got to do with is Tommy Robinson refusing to take his film down and Hermer,
Because it had
a
a line.
political appointment, interceding. And instead of the punishment typically for breaching an injunction in a civil action is a slap on the wrist, a bigger fine, Hermer took it to another level and threw Tommy Robinson in jail.
Okay, all I can tell you is that Tommy Robinson has a standing invitation to come on this program, which he's consistently bottled it, refused to do. And I can tell you the reason why. He knows that if we do it here in England, and I ask him to repeat his lies about that Syrian boy that you've all swallowed in America, if he repeats them,
What lies?
he goes back to jail. You believed his lies. And fall on you.
It's illegal
Fall
for
on you,
him to
Gavin.
talk about that boy.
Fall on. No, it's not illegal.
for him.
He lost.
Your
He lost.
elite, your
he
state,
lost a
your
defamation
deep state
case.
has made it illegal
He
for him
lost
to
a
discuss the
defamation
case.
case.
Okay, the case that they're talking about was the lad that he actually accused him of, I think it was it harassing a girl or beating up a young girl? And it was all a lie. It was all made up. And they had to move because the young lad was being harassed, the family was being harassed, and they had to move. And that film he played it, didn't he, in London at Trafalgar Square at one place, and it was lies. It was all bollocks. Bye, Elle. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Or is it Saz? Yes, Saz is going. Bye, Saz. Thank you for being here. So and it was a lie. So he was done for that. But he then played it anyway. So the Yanks, because, I mean, God, they voted in Trump. Of course they're going to believe that. I mean, it doesn't take much to fool the MAGA crowd, does it? Hi, Reagan. Thank you for joining. Lovely to see you. Yes, Max Roverspear is on later. I was supposed to make spag bowl, but I'm not going to have time, so I'm having salad instead, which is okay. Yeah, Piers Talmott is on the case this day. This was actually, it just came up, and because it was about the Tommy Robinson rally, I thought, oh, I'll listen to this. And I was like, oh, that's, you know, something that I can play. Because I know that not a lot of us watch him. So I thought, well, and because it's got Ava on and there's a bit that I want to play, and I'm just looking at the timestamps now. Yes, please support Reagan Elite if you don't already over on his channel. He streams every weekday at 11 until 12. Absolutely brilliant. Covers stuff around the world. He also has the roundtable on the Thursday evenings and the Eco Flake show and various other shows that he does. Well worth watching, well worth following and supporting. And Daily Blase ready for tomorrow. He was a flight risk, Diz. He was a flight risk. We don't have political appointed judges. No, we don't. Tommy has a new song coming out. He's doing a cover version of You Can Call Me Al. Syrian refugee Jamal, that's it, that's his name, who was filmed being attacked at school, falsely accused, of being violently attacking young English girls. That's it, that's the one, Jamal, poor kid. Tommy's scamming bastard. I doubt he believes very much of what he spouts. He's a grifty bastard. He is, and he's also a snifty bastard. He likes to sniff white powder. Ben Habib can get fucked as well. Tiny Tom has admitted to 10 breaches of the 2021 injunction, so the 18 months for contempt of court was justified. Exactly, it was. I love the fact that you're on here, Chris, and you've got all this your fingertips at the ready for the crime statistics. It's really, really, really helpful because I can't remember it all. So I'm going to move over to Ben Habib now, talking about cultures. This is interesting. Am I in the right place? I think so.
We've got in the United Kingdom is lots of different cultures imported into this country, not homegrown, not part of traditional British culture, having a protected blanket put around them, being celebrated and promoted with our British culture being set aside. And these people are operating often in cultural silos, absolutely at odds even with each other. So, for example, when there was a cricket match, Piers, I know you're a cricket fan, when there was a cricket match between Pakistan and India, rival groups of Hindus and Muslims in Leicester went to war against each other over a cricket match where England... Hang on. That is a cultural... You make that a cultural thing. Hang on.
Yeah, like Ava was trying to say there, you know, it happens all the time. Football fans of one team will fight football fans of another team. You know, talking about the cricket teams having a fight with each other. It happens all over the bloody world. It's sport, stupid. I don't really follow sport very much. I like running, obviously, but it's not. My dad was sport mad, and it used to get shoved down my throat. So I just don't watch football or anything like that. Ben, you let them down, ball bag. Yeah. Just reading these. Fact check by Chris. Yeah. Sport is not very sporting. No, Kirsty, it's not. It's not. Do you know what I used to watch when I lived in South Africa? Rugby. The fights happen on the pitch in rugby. And they're proper fights, like ice hockey. Not like bloody football where, you know, a foul happens when the guy's leg was up here and they was down there and they just go, ow, ow, ow. Benabib wasn't born in the UK, was born in Pakistan. Yeah, he actually says here that his dad was Pakistani and his mum's English. Yeah. He does actually say that in this. And Morgan calls him out on it, like, so what you're saying? And he says his dad is, accepts British values. And he's saying here, British values are pushed aside. No, they're not. They're not pushed aside. It's this whole, bollocks that the right spew, because they just want to create this hatred. They want to create this division. It serves their purpose. And it's racism. And, I find, and I've said this before, some of you may not remember me saying it, but like some people will say, oh, I'm Dinosaur Bain, the right-wing commentator. He's married to a Chinese woman. And so he said, I can't be racist because I'm married to a Chinese woman. That's not how it works. That's not how racism works at all. It's something that I want to talk about in a video soon. His dad is one of the good immigrants. Exactly, Mithril. Exactly. Football hooliganism has been going on since the 60s. Yeah. What was that film with Sylvester Stallone where they played footy in Germany and they all escaped? The Great Escape. Was it The Great Escape? Escape from something. Escape from something. It was a brilliant film. And Sylvester Stallone's character, he was American, but he couldn't play football, so they shoved him in goal, didn't they? Oh, what was it called? Escape from... or The Great Escape. I can't remember the name. It was a good film. It was a very good film. Let's go back to Escape to Victory. Thank you, Diz. I knew one of you would get it. Thank you. What does GOAT stand for? Yes, because I wasn't greatest of all time. I'm a goat.
Hang on,
That's
please.
a cultural
Hang on, please.
breakdown in the United
Hang on,
Kingdom.
please. Ben, am I right in thinking that all your family then were all homegrown, going back centuries?
No, I'm not suggesting that for a
Well, where
moment.
were they from?
No, the key thing.
Hang on. Where were they from?
My father's Pakistani. My
Wow.
mother is English.
So none of your family are homegrown.
My mother is
fighting
Well,
right now.
apparently they're
What's happening?
compatible.
How many
That's
cents I feel
extraordinary.
like I'm gonna fight Ben right now.
Can I just say,
How
I'm
extraordinary that
not-
someone whose father's a Pakistani
I'm not
is
making.
preaching to us about the need for everyone to be homegrown.
I'm not.
What are
I
you
never.
talking about?
No, I never.
he's talking about assimilation
I have to
here.
America. I
Assimilation.
Okay, don't all talk at once, Ben.
You've accused me of saying people have to be homegrown. That
You
is
did.
completely wrong.
You literally just said that.
No, what I said was we need cultural
Bye, Lars.
assimilation.
Thank
We need
you
a
for
homegrown.
being
No,
here and for
I
listening.
didn't say homegrown.
You did say
I said,
homegrown.
no, I never said homegrown.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to play it back
Play
to
it
you.
back.
Okay, let's
And
get
play
the clip.
context.
Get
Play
me the clip,
context.
and when it's
Play
ready,
the context.
we'll play
Play
it
the
back.
context.
You said homegrown.
What we have set
got it?
aside, what we have set aside in the United Kingdom is a homogeneous, settled British culture because we have practiced mass migration from cultures that are different to ours, and we've
Well, like Pakistan.
and promoted them,
Like Pakistan?
including Pakistan, Afghanistan, Syria, North Africa.
Is your father still alive?
My father is still alive.
Okay, you're going to send him home.
No, it's not a matter of deporting everyone who is not.
What is it then?
It is a matter of having cultural homogeneity. So we are settled as
Your
a
father
country.
wouldn't be from
The
cultural
Unite-
homogeneity.
But
He's from
the Unite the Kingdom
You
march.
assimilated.
Why wouldn't you deport your
The
father?
Unite because I'm not going to deport people who are perfectly law-abiding and respect.
anyone.
So as long as it's members of...
I'm not going to deport anyone who is perfectly law-abiding. So that would be 99% of the immigrants and asylum seekers who come here. Benabib is baptized, but is not, yes, not a practicing Christian. He was only baptized in preparation for his marriage to his Christian wife. Doesn't sound like he has fitted in into British culture, does it? No, definitely not. Thank you for listening, Alistair. It's lovely that you listened. Are you on your way now? I hate driving and listening and wanting to say something. Yeah, I shout. So I'm trying to find this bit with let me just jump to here. Hang on a second. Oh, I'm going to have an advert now. Buffering. I confused it. I did confuse the pewter. Poor old deluded Benny the Bag, the notice he's trying to be part of would deport him. Exactly. They would deport him first chance they get. The same as Priti Patel and Braverman and, you know. Okay, it's buffering.
British lines. But if I used it, I used it in a cultural.
I know, we found out what you are, which made it all the more baffling why you would use phrases like that.
What I am.
Are you calling a Pakistani a racist to Pakistanis?
Yeah, and this is the point about the United Kingdom march. Everyone wants to class the United Kingdom march as racist. Actually,
I haven't said that.
People do say it. They say
I haven't said that.
People do say it.
Tommy Robinson a racist.
They say it's far right. It's racist. It's a bunch of white people who just want to deport everyone. It's rubbish. I spoke at the 13th of September. There were lots of different ethnicities present, but they had one thing in common. They love this country. They love its history.
Okay, we've now got the clip. Let's play it.
Yeah.
Advert. I knew there was an advert coming.
Let's
Sorry,
imagine
guys.
You're organising your next big trip.
What we've got in the United Kingdom is lots of different cultures imported into this country, not homegrown. The cultures are not homegrown. The cultures are not homegrown. That's the point.
And he denied that he said it, and there he did. He said it.
I did not use it in a racist sense.
You assured me you didn't use it at all.
Yeah, but you've taken the cultures. Go and play the clip again.
Yeah,
The cultures were not
Let me go to Andrew Wilson.
Yeah.
Andrew.
He is actually correct here, Piers. He said the cultures are not homegrown. So he's saying that these are foreign cultures.
It was the march against the
Sorry,
Iraq
I'm just
War.
going,
I know about
skipping
it
along.
because I was leading the campaign against the Iraq War, and most of them were carrying Daily Mirror, the paper I ran, placards saying no war. And it was the biggest march, and it was dwarfed.
It was
Tommy Robinson
marches
by about 12 to 1. It is complete bullshit.
Is probably going to be
You again have believed Tommy Robinson, who says 3 million people came to his march. It is bullshit. Utter bullshit.
I tell you, it's equally bullshit to say it was 150,000.
But okay, let me just make my point. Hang on one second. I want to make a point wider about the rally, though. I think people in this country are perfectly entitled to demonstrate peacefully. I think there's nothing intrinsically wrong with people attending the Tommy Robinson March if they wish to do that. Most of them do so completely.
Why'd you tell Glenn Beck not to go?
Hang on, I haven't finished speaking yet. Most of them do so peacefully. That's fine with me, right? If you want to lasso your horse next to Tommy Robinson, absolutely fine with me. But be very cognizant of the kind of person he really is, not the ridiculous caricature he presents of himself in the United States, which is causing this country's reputation a lot of harm because you're all falling for it. I can tell you, if you walk through London, any part of London, you're not getting a sense of it being overrun by anybody. London is a great, vibrant.
It's not British.
City. You're not
It's
here.
not British anymore.
Where do you live? Where do you live?
I live in New York City. I was
New
just
York
in
City.
London. I was there for
I was in New York City. I go there all the time. I love New York City. New York City's crime. New York City's crime.
London feels like
your crime rate is immeasurably worse than London.
Related to the town.
Right.
No one's British there anymore.
Your crime rate in New York is immeasurably. You have immeasurably more serious crime in New York than we do in London. Why is that? If we're being overrun.
Well, I don't think you want to go near that third rail, but it has to do with race.
In New York?
Yes.
Ah, well, do explain.
Well, we have a major crime problem in this country and in New York City because blacks and browns are on welfare and they're addicted to crack and they have guns because we have a socialist Muslim mayor who's letting them do whatever they want. It's sort of like London, but you guys have knives, we have guns. Guns kill more people. And when Mamdani allows them to do whatever they want and lets them out on bail,
Mamdani's been in charge for a few
we have
months.
total anarchy.
New York,
So
last time I checked, has had a more
problem for the first
Yeah,
time. ever.
Mamdani has been mayor for a few months, right? New York City has had a far higher serious crime rate than London throughout my entire adult life. What are you talking about? And you've had white mayors and Christian mayors.
We've had socialist mayors. We've had one right-wing mayor, Giuliani, and that's when there was no crime in New York.
Of course there was crime in New York. What are you talking
Affirmative
about?
action socialism.
Of course there was crime in New York under Giuliani.
No, Giuliani, our annual murder rate went from 2,000 to 300 with Giuliani. Thousands of lives.
That sounds like a crime rate to
because
me.
we got a right-wing person. Under David Dinkins in 92, it was brutal, and we're getting back there now. But we have a socialism problem in New York City, and you guys have a socialism and a Muslim problem. And now we're experiencing both. With our
Well, the point I was going to make about the United Kingdom march, now let me bring Andrew back in here. I don't pretend for a moment that we have not had a poor record in controlling immigration to this country this century, right? We have had two problems. One, we've had the issue of small boats coming over the channel from France, which has been completely uncontrolled. And we've had between 40 and 60,000 people a year coming in illegally. And once they get here, it's almost impossible to send them anywhere else. And so they've been put up in hotels at expense to the taxpayer, cause a lot of social anger and unrest. And it should have been tackled years ago. We've also had a massive issue with legal migration, where under Tony Blair, a Labour Prime Minister, but also then fueled by successive Conservative Prime Ministers,
Right.
we have allowed too many people to come into the country legally with too many dependents. I don't think these things are contestable. They're just a reality of what we've done in this country. But the narrative that we are being overrun by Muslims is untrue. And that is also, I think, a demonstrable fact in this country. And I'm just concerned that the problem with Robinson is that he spews all this stuff all the time. If you look at his social media feed, the only crimes he focuses on are crimes perpetrated by Muslims. And yet the vast majority... Hang on, Gavin. I'm talking to Andrew. And yet the vast majority of crime in the UK is committed by white people, including sexual crime, including rape, including the vast majority of crime is done by white people.
Yeah, but
you'll never believe that looking at Tommy Robinson's feed.
I'm going to end that there. Hi, Daily Blase. Thank you for being here. I've run over because we know you were away on holiday, so I went a bit over. So I have been entertaining your crowd. I hope I've done a good job. But yeah, New York. Oh, crime vanished. No, it bloody didn't. And I'd love to see the actual figures of what he's talking about when Giuliani was mayor or leader or whatever they are in mayor, isn't it? It is mayor in New York, because I'm pretty sure that that's a load of bollocks. But yeah, what is the reason that there is crime in the black areas? It's in Harlem, and I'm trying to think of the other different areas now. Poverty. It's poverty. And the fact that they have access to pew-pews. There would be far less crime if people had a universal basic income. And of course, in America, if there were no pew-pews. So, yeah, there's this lack of being able to think cognitively and to, analyze the situation and say, okay, what is causing this? What is the reason that this is happening? Poverty, social inequality. That is the reason. Okay, the bit that I wanted to play, I'm going to head off now because I'm absolutely starving and it's nearly time for the cats to have their tea. But I'll probably play the rest of this on Sunday because it'll be the bit that I wanted to play you is further on. So yeah, because the other guy, the guy that's the leader of the Proud Boys, he's so funny. And the other guy, there's another panel member who's hardly spoken on this thing. He's just sat there. He's really hardly spoken at all. And Ava hasn't spoken much either. So, yeah. Giuliani doing his fantastic speeches outside dildo shops. Yeah, when his hair was running down his face. That was brilliant, that. Analysis, that would be awful. Yeah. Twin Towers. Was he mayor when the Twin Towers came down? Yeah. Yeah. And they were united in grief. And that does change things. Those sort of incidents do change things in society for a while. And then they go back to how they were, just like COVID did. COVID changed things for a while. And then where are we? We're back to the usual normal shit going on. During Rudy Giuliani's mayoralty, New York City experienced a dramatic, widely recognized decline in crime, with overall crime falling by over 50% and murders dropping by roughly 66 to 70%. Yeah. The spelling. Analyses. Yes, I hope that I got that right. Dripping Giuliani. Yeah. Not dripping as in beef dripping. Bus drive turning into a rodeo. Oh, bless you, Indy. Have you been on the bus for 2.5 bloody hours? Goodness me. Bye, Diz. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much. I think I saw that Kirsty was heading off too. I'm not sure. But if you are heading off, bye-bye, my darling. Anal eyes. Okay. But you can swear on this channel. We've already discussed that. So, yeah, I'm just adjusting my pants, honest gov. Yeah. So I'm going to carry on with, because there's not actually that much left on here, to be honest. I'm quite surprised that that we got through 37 bloody minutes of that. Mind you, I did miss the introduction off. So I did miss that bit off, and I did skip a couple of bits. So I'm going to head out with a song. I don't think this is copyrighted, to be honest. They're a band that I discovered a couple of years ago called Dead Soul Revival. They're really, really good. I've asked them to come and play over in the UK. They did play Europe last year, but they've still not been here. So I'm oh, you're still there. You're still there, Kirsty. So I'm really hoping that they do come. If you are a fan of Paris Paloma, her tickets went on sale today. She is touring the UK. I think she's doing 4 gigs. Manchester, Glasgow, London and Birmingham, I think, are the 4 places. Well worth listening to her stuff. She is a feminist through and through. She is a feminist. I love her stuff. So I just thought I'd let you know about that. Does Cookie Monster ice cream count as chocolate chip cookie? Yes, of course it does. Which reminds me, I need to go and order ice cream. Am I ready for Knobwarts round 3? Absolutely, Sir Larry. Absolutely. So let me play this song on the way out. I just want to say thank you to everybody for being here today and for listening and watching and your comments and your thoughts. And oh, we didn't finish the poll, did we? So Rayner wins on 50%, Burnham on 36 is second, Miliband 9% third, and Streeting down at the bottom on 5%. So some idiot voted for Streeting, but anyway. So that's the end of the poll. I will be back on Sunday evening, 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. I shall be talking about stuff and nonsense. Got some great stories lined up that have been coming up on my feed all week. So thank you so much for everything, guys, and for watching and your support and, you know, the mods. Thank you so much. Thank you for other content creators for dropping in and saying hello. I really do appreciate it. Remember to follow each other. Remember, it's Chocolate Chip Cookie Day, it's Work From Home Day, and it's Pizza Party Day. So whatever you do, have a good one, and blessed be.
Do you know where the black roses grow? Where the black roses grow. A storm is coming, will you run away? You must fight through the pain, lost in the dark. darkness, but we'll find a way to the light. Trust your pain. Do you know where the black roses grow? Where the black roses grow. The flame that leads you takes you far away from the earth.